it all the time. So let the boys know that. And Jack, Jack, just don't say anything and let me throw this up. So I'm really gonna need those NFTs for Christmas. You know, GRC is a big Christmas guy. No, but seriously, any updates on everything? And just on all seriousness, that was just a joke.
Sure. So the audit is on. We're thinking the launch shortly after Christmas, just to make sure that we're in time for the rabbit, the Chinese rabbit for 2023.
Yeah, someone was in my DMs giving me all sorts of Chinese rabbit summaries. They were like, "He's coming out." I was like, "Oh boy, the rabbit."
The year of the
All
rabbit.
seriousness, is that a part of the ethos with all this, or is it more of just something that you like?
Uh, well, I like putting little Easter eggs everywhere, and the rabbit is definitely one of those Easter eggs. But it's also uh, a part of marketing too. So we're very interested in Asian market specifically, and we're obviously partnering with OKX to help us with the launch as well, because they have a pretty cool NFT platform, and so we want the Asian community to vibe with the NFTs, and that's why the
Wow,
rabbit is there.
lots of transaction volume over there in those markets. We know that,
And
and
there's
we like.
also yin and yang. So the yin is the creation of Zen. That's the creation part, and the yang is the NFT that burns it. And that's also like a little icon on one of those NFTs that have a lot of burn.
And everyone's so excited about these NFTs, and I hope they're not excited just because I don't know what from your interpretation of your Zenians. What are are they just excited because it's exciting, or are they excited because of the burn? Are they excited for just some action on something fun? Because I'm excited about stuff. Me too. Like I am excited.
Well, I think people are excited about the narrative, and the narrative is crypto that you own, no pre-allocation, no investors, and you make the crypto yourself. Very, very similar to Bitcoin. So having Bitcoin 12 years later, or something that runs very, very similar to Bitcoin, plus having NFTs, which is an enhancement to the, I would say, liquidity elements, because NFTs have their own liquidity pools that ERC20 creators usually do not go after. And so one of the paradigm shifting things were that we launched on 10 different chains, but at the same time, if we can make the NFT aspect also successful in terms of liquidity, that could bring a lot of new users to the project too, from the marketing and probably market fit and people trying to figure out NFTs, generally collectibles, generally rare, but plugged in into this abundance of Zen, which makes it very interesting.
Zen makes Ethereum not a security. No, oh, whoops. No, but Buck, and then what do you think about Zen, Buck? And just be honest about it. You don't have Jack's gotten every comment.
You know me. I don't beat around the bush. I don't know enough about it to give a really good opinion on it. Somebody who works with Jack quite a bit as a volunteer kind of gave me his opinion, which turned out to be pretty accurate, which is that it was going to dump for quite a while. So I didn't really pay too much attention to it, and probably won't until I think that's likely to reverse. But
And that makes sense for you though, but like,
yeah.
there are average Joes out there that are doing pretty, they're really excited about,
Well,
making $100 out of
I'm
it.
interested in Jack's strategy. Like, is this about launching all these chains? Is this about just building out a massive ecosystem of people that follow you? I've kind of asked Jack this question before. But
So
I
I
kind
wish
of
I
feel
could
like
answer for him, but I love it. This is my favorite.
so I'm just a focal point for Zen. I'm the avatar, but myself, I'm not Zen. obviously. So it doesn't matter what people follow.
Yeah,
Ultimately,
no, but I guess my question is this sort of just a way of, is this the appetizer or is this the main? Is sort of my question.
it's definitely the appetizer.
It's definitely the appetizer. Yeah. Okay.
1000% an appetizer. Because think about it. This project took 75 days to launch from the inception to being on the market. And I wouldn't say that we didn't put a lot of thought into it, but let's just say that it wasn't one of the harder things that we have done. And so Zen is acting as a messenger molecule across the crypto space, across the crypto universe. It will bring people into the ecosystem where other builders that would be using Zen would actually take the advantage of this sort of collective, I would say. So Zen is definitely the the marketing type of element that's aligning people across their ideologies in bringing in the ideology of blockchain and crypto first principles and Bitcoin back to the kind of, I would say, front row.
Back right to the front row.
So I mean, that makes sense to me. I thought one of the reasons I got Hex down at the bottom at the start was because I knew Richard was a pretty clever guy, and that there would be more to Hex than just this thing that inflates rapidly for 365 days, which is what it did at the time, and I knew there would be a second act there. I guess I still don't really know what your second act is, but obviously you've purposefully designed Zen so that it'll dump for quite some time. But I have to think there's
hold on.
I have to think
the verbiage is incorrect. The verbiage, like you designed, but it's like he wrote on the first thing he wrote in his notebook was like, make sure this dumps. And it's like, no, that's because distribution patterns for Hex. What's the problem with Hex, right? Guys like you can get in day one when the whole supply is on the market. Yeah, of course you get it, but it's an important point. Like it is an important point. Like,
so what if I told you? What if I told you that Zen isn't dumping?
Yeah, no, I get you can mint it for free and sell it to somebody. Yeah.
Not even that. What you're looking at are at the shadows on the wall. But the true nature of Zen is that it's getting more valuable every day as more and more humans connecting to Zen.
Yeah, I get that part, and that's why the first thing I asked you about was I thought your strategy is interesting of going on all the different chains for that exact purpose.
So 2 months ago, Zen did not exist, and 2 months later, 1 million humans came to the web app and executed 85 million actions on that web page. Now that was from 0 to 1 million in that short amount of time. Now, we're obviously not looking at the chart here, but I'm looking at the charts that matter at the adoption.
And when I'm looking at the chart, I'm looking at volume, amount of transactions, and liquidity. And the numbers are just off the charts for in every metric other than, the few people that are like sparingly going in there and like trying to scrape some money out because they don't really know what's going on.
So
Go ahead.
So a next follow up to that. So I think I understand that, and I get why that's important. And we already established that this is the appetizer, not the main. Why us, Jack? Why have you picked this sort of community of kind of oddballs? You've got probably some pretty good. You've got pretty good connections, I imagine, over there in the West Coast. That could probably get you there faster. Why us?
But what if I told you I didn't pick you? That you picked me.
I picked you. I fucking picked him. Like I picked him. Like, and I want people to know that, like, that this is the truth of the matter. There was a narrative created about Jack. Jack is a crypto nerd. Jack likes tech, and he also likes human beings, other human beings. So guys that like tech and other shit, he ends up talking to them. And then guys like me email him or DM him. And you know what we say? Would you like to come on my show? And then if he doesn't answer, maybe I'll ask him again. And I got Richard Hart also felt the same way. That's why he invited him on his show, because Richard wanted him on his team. He said that verbatim, I'm pretty sure. And then Richard spins up a narrative to, just like he did with me when I started saying, "Oh, didn't you get everyone wrecked?" It's like, did I really get everyone wrecked, bro? Really? Like, what? How did I get everyone wrecked? And so the truth of the matter is, it wasn't he. Jack said verbatim that this was easy for him to accomplish, and he said verbatim in the video that we watched that he was doing an attack on mediocrity. And I'm not. It has nothing to do with Richard, but at the same time, this is Ethereum's volume. Hex is a large piece of Ethereum's Uniswap volume. Like, it's just people coming in that know what's going on with the shit and are not beating around the bush with it. That's my opinion. Like, my opinion is the narrative on Jack has all been wrong the whole time. People are in my DMs over the age of 40 telling me he's an FBI agent, telling me that he sucks human blood. It's like, it's just stupid. It's ignorant. It's all retarded. And I'm just like, Jack, more vampire people. Are you vampire? And he's like, nah. And it's just like, okay. Like, so I'm not buying into the narrative anymore that just because a guy comes in and has a decent idea, he's some sort of serial, like, monopoly, like, businessman. Like, Elon Musk isn't like that, and he's one of the guys that you look up to the most. And I'd like your thoughts on him and Buck's thoughts on him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not worried about the vampire thing. Like, I'm a capitalist. I'm a fan of letting people compete, right? And nobody owns me, right? I invest where I think there's good value, right? I don't have all my money in Hex, for example. I like Hex, especially when I think it's cheap. But
What do you think
I
about the
also
average investor in Hex? What does the average investor in Hex ring in your bell as someone who does a lot of investing?
well, I mean, there's two types. There, as Richard said, there's some very bright people, and then there's some very average people. And there seems to be, I don't know, a bimodal distribution in the community. But I wanted to kind of just make him answer this question again, because I think it's very interesting, just because you must have substantial resources with your CV. And I see you spending an inordinate amount of time just with kind of average people like myself and Jim Rat here.
I just don't think
Strategically, it
I don't
seems
think you guys are
strange.
average. I don't think you guys are average. That's where you're wrong.
I don't think I'm average.
You're not
Well,
average.
I think I'm quite average. Like
It doesn't matter what
it
you
just
think.
seems
Joe
it
Rogan
just seems
thinks
really
himself
strange to me.
average too. It only
Yeah,
feels
but why
strange
not?
to you because you've been looking at the world through a very personal lens.
You need mushrooms, brother.
No, I understand where you're
I wasn't
coming from,
joking.
but I think you're not average, and Jim Rat's not average, and anybody I speak with are not average. But I can understand why you feel why you're asking that sort of a question. But
Well,
I just
I
don't.
get your
I don't.
partnership with OKX, for example. That strategically makes sense. What you said. Okay, yeah, you get a partnership with these guys. They open up the Asian thing to you. But yeah, it just seems to me it's very interesting that you spend this much time with us when you could probably go talk to way bigger, way more influential people than
I
us.
know why. GRC is going to be working for 7,000 days straight and streaming for 7,000 days straight. You can bet on a little bit of horses too. Like me, like let's say me and Jack are buddies now. To be honest, me and Jack's talk on stream, and then I ask him thousands of questions. Then he ignores most of them. That's just a reality, and I don't care. He's just a random person. But at the same time, it's like, dude, he knows, I know, you know, I'm going to be doing this probably every day until the wheels fall off. So, I mean, like, is that it's just as impactful when you think of time, because I always say time's the most valuable currency of all. I spend a lot of my time doing this, and I'm not saying here coming at. I invited him on the stream, but I think you enjoy the conversations with people just like I do. I have a lot of rich friends, and they don't have a lot of substance.
So I'm building a foundation, and the true foundation comes from true people. And you guys are true people. If I went to Google or Facebook or anyone else out there, the big guys, they're not builders of the foundation. They're the farmers. They farm people like us to create ideas and to monetize those ideas by participation. I went straight to the source, real people. And the foundation can only be built on a solid ground when it's built ground up. You do not start from the top. You start from the top, you get FTX.
You go after the money right away, and this is a truth in like business and stuff. Was Elon Musk's first idea, how am I going to make $1 billion tomorrow? No, it was, how am I going to make cars better forever? And look what we have now. My roommate, I don't want to talk too loud, but he is not in the best situation in the world. Now he has a Tesla and he drives an Uber all day. And he's doing
I think Elon's a great example. So Elon got rich. Jack probably knows the story better than I do, but he got rich with PayPal, and being there at the right place, right time, and having all the right connections in Silicon Valley. He was there with Peter
That is
Thiel.
actually not true. That is not true. That is not how it started.
Jack, would you please tell us how it started? Because I know you study him a lot, or maybe not study might be the wrong word.
Elon came with nothing in the pocket in 1995 to the Silicon Valley. I came in 97. He wanted to work at Netscape. I worked next door to Netscape, and I had lunch with Netscape dudes. And they told me that he sent the resume. He was at Stanford at the time. Now, the story goes like this. He was into lithium because his family actually comes from discovery of lithium and mining, and any sort of what you could do with lithium is you create energy cells. And at Stanford, he was working on energy projects. And then he saw internet take off. In 1995, Netscape became the window to into the internet. So he told his Stanford advisors, he said that I want to do this internet thing. It probably will fail. If it fails, can I come back? And they said, sure, take a year, take 2 years, build your thing, see if it works. If it doesn't work, come back. So he started X.com and then eventually connected with PayPal guys. And back then, PayPal guys were nobody, just a bunch of dudes trying to make internet money or internet money exchange payment system work. And that's how the connections came to be. We were all in the same boat. We were no ones.
No, you had all the connections in the world. Shut up.
But
I'm trying to just frame it. I'm trying to frame it because I'm pretty open-minded. Well,
that's not what I meant. What I meant was he went to Silicon Valley, which is the heart of tech investing, and it has been for 50 years. And to Stanford, which is synonymous with this, like that makes sense to me. It's just my point is really just around why us, why not go there? But you've answered that, right? And I think that's very interesting. I have to think more about that, because to me it seems like you're doing it the hard way. It would be much easier, would it not, just to go back to Silicon
Valley?
For what, and
easier for what?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the interesting thing.
What are we building here?
Yeah, you're trying to build something different. I get it. It's interesting.
Zen is a building block.
To me, it just seems very inefficient with your resources.
It's inefficient because think about it this way. Elon invents an electric car. It wasn't even his invention. It was just something that he was passionate about. Something clicked in his mind. Tesla was owned by someone else. Now, he could have been purely fintech software dude because of PayPal, but he went after a hardest problem And when I say hardest, competing against Chevy, competing against Ford, competing against the government, because all of those companies were subsidized by the government. He comes up with something very, very difficult to do. Is he being efficient with his time? No way. Same thing with space. His answer why he's doing space, and he says space is hard and nobody's doing it. I may as well do it. Now, is that efficient? No. But it changes the planet for the better.
And it's fun for guys that want stimulation. Like when my life gets easy, I just get depressed because I want it. I'm a man. I want to work.
The reason why Elon is the richest human on the planet is because he doesn't measure his successes with money.